what you do. Don't understand how. Now I'm so into you, and I can't get out. And I can't get out. Left me alone in the darkness while you run and hide. You're colder than stone, yeah, you're heartless, and I don't know why. And I can't get out.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the I Read a Book Once podcast. It is me, your host for the evening, Dr. Crow. I am, of course, joined by my lovely assistant, Lori Day, and it's wonderful to see you today. I hope you've had a fantastic week. Just real quick, our updates. Brand new Sally Starcross is out on the Twitter for those of you who like to read those. But not much else going on this week, so we are going to jump right to the interview. Please welcome my guest, the one, the only literature devil.
Hello to you, Dr. Crow.
Good evening, good evening. Hope you're doing well. Have you been having a good day, sir?
So far, so good.
All
I
right.
mean, it's summer, so it's hotter than hell, more than usual. So that's about it. That's about it. Otherwise, pretty good.
Yeah, we've just got hit with that heat wave last week, and now it rained between then. And now instead of heat, we have humidity. So we traded one problem
good
for the
combination.
next. Oh yeah, no. Drink lots of water. Remember, carnies, drink lots of water. Stay indoors from 11 a.m. to November 1st. So, Literature Devil, tell us who you are, just for anybody in the chat who doesn't know who you are.
I go on YouTube. I have Literature Devil on YouTube. Go over story structure, things like that. The psychology behind storytelling, the philosophy behind storytelling. Dive deep into these things. All these the modern day media stuff, where they kind of just try to tell you where things go wrong or things go right, and they try to dictate, what's right and what you should be thinking, what you shouldn't be thinking. And why sometimes people kind of have a visceral reaction to the media that they're seeing, that they're shown, and then they have no idea why they didn't like it, and then they're told that they're bigots or racist or whatever for not liking it, which is not true at all. Not true at all. It's a hero's journey stuff. It's like the psychology of the people going through these things, this journeys of maturity. All these things are kind of being forgotten about, and so I kind of go into those ideas and these the age-old traditions that are trying to not only forgotten, but are being actively fought against. They're trying to crush them into the ground. So I was like, return to traditional storytelling. This is why it was important. Every single writer that I've ever seen, no matter what their politics might be, has always respected the traditions of storytelling. It's only this new modern day crop that has not done so. So kind of go into that, explain why, break it down into something I hope is easy to understand, easily digestible, and back it up with evidence, because there's a lot of evidence back there.
Yeah, you had a long saying no one's really political or, in your words, woke to anything they actually care about. That's been a really strong philosophy on yours, and it's amazing just like how much of the dramas and issues that we have, if ironically, if we just let people enjoy things. But no, you either have to like it or you have to go away. Like you're not allowed to dislike it either, just either because you have actual reasons or just because you didn't even enjoy it, right? It's just
That's a one way to check if something is political, if a show or a movie is political, if you're not allowed to dislike it. If you're not allowed to dislike it, oh, there's some politics there. It's a good way of knowing.
Yeah, because we would just be it'd be okay if we'd let you like it even if we didn't, but no, you gotta shove it on us first. It's like it's crazy how that hypocrisy just stems so deep.
Like, well, I see you didn't like the new Star Wars. I guess you should be fired from your job or something.
Yeah.
That's that's the extent of it. And they're psychos too. They're really psychos. Like this. Oh, we should. They like daydream about Kylo Ren's actor, Adam Driver, like losing his child and his wife so that he can be with Daisy Ridley or something. It's crazy stuff. Like it's insane stuff.
It is real crazy. What else does it do? You are also a writer. That's what you're primarily known for, I believe, right? Well, at least not in
Occasionally.
occasionally. You have two books out right now: Doctor Alpha, Miracle Child, and Dead Man's Lullaby, Part 1.
Yeah, part 1.
Part 1.
Working on part 2.
Part 2 coming someday.
Hopefully soon. Yes, hopefully soon. I'm working on the script now, and then hopefully I can get that out. Hopefully, I wanted to launch it before the end of the year, but we'll try. We'll see what happens.
Are you going to launch that and run that at the same time as Lady Midnight, or is Lady Midnight going to be after?
It's possible. I'm thinking about doing two at once, maybe see how that goes, but one at a time. I won't launch two at a time. Let's launch the first one, see how that goes, and then launch the second one sometime later.
All right.
Ideally.
So let's get right down to the fun stuff. We'll talk about Dr. Alpha first. So Dr. Alpha is your super villain story. It's he's not the hero. he's
definitely not. Plays the. I had a lot of fun making that character because it started off as a short story. I think I call it the Mysterious Dr. Alpha. And it's supposed to be kind of like this. Every story was going to be this weird, strange, like Doctor Who like adventure. But it kind of that's where we got like Miracle Child from. Is going to be this one's going to be about this crazy, like hidden grandson that he had. So it's supposed to be these crazy like adventures where. It's like Doctor Who, but not as moral. It's supposed to go dive into the ideas of is he actually evil? Is it why is he? What's his motivations? That's kind of the main thing for a villain is motivations. I like to play around with tropes that way because typically, well, at least in the old school kind of superhero genre, you had your mad scientists, your evil villains. They had like really paper thin motivations, like I want to get money, or I want to screw over all these guys over here, or these guys kind of made fun of me in high school, and I want to get vengeance on them. Like it's usually really like paper thin motivations. So you almost none. They're just evil sometimes. And so which is nothing really wrong with that. But I kind of wanted to go into the idea of giving him a proper motivation. Like what would happen if you give one of these mad scientists a real motivation? It's not as comic book esque. And it's kind of and Miracle Child kind of had a little bit of hints of that in there, but Dead Man's Lullaby is really going to hit that home. I started with part 1, but the idea is going to eventually explore the idea of like, why is he doing this? And is it really because he's evil, or is it because of other reasons? And what really hinted at this motivation is the ending to Miracle Child, which is that black and white story where he wasn't actually evil in there. He's almost kind of a good guy, just kind of like lost or lacking motivation, lacking a direction in life, and then making friends with Mulvion, who would become the Martian mastermind. So it's kind of like there's little hints and pieces there. But overall, there's a grand plan, and it's going to explore the ideas of villainy, heroism, and sacrifice at the end.
Yeah. I apologize real quick. I'm being attacked by a cat. Tag along. No, you're not the center of attention right now. I don't have a webcam.
They do.
I can't exploit your cuteness for views. Everybody say hi to Princess Tagalong. She's over there in her chair now. The black and white story was basically how Mulvion and Dr. Alpha met. Uh, just a little side note. One of my favorite details of that is that when they go to the movie theater, uh, they go to see War of the Worlds. And then just one of those, I like the little details like that. That's a funny little gag. And Movion seems to be really into that movie.
The perfect first film they both see. I thought it's like, oh, well, watch War of the Worlds, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Let's go see the genocide of Martians. That's what the Martian would love to see, right? And that put humanity's best foot forward right after being bullied. Tag along. Now's not the time for this. I'm trying to make a good impression. So in Miracle Child, the whole story starts off with, gosh, names have always been my weakest suit. It's Dr.
Glorious?
Alpha's son. It is
Glorious.
Glorious, yes. It is Glorious. I kept wanting to say Crusaders, which is the name of the organization, not the so Glorious goes to the prison to get him out. And it starts the whole thing off. And at this point, Dr. Alpha is not aware of Mulvion's plan up until this point, right? But spoiler warning for the book that's been out for about, I'm wanting to say 3 years now.
A couple of years, yeah.
Dr. Alpha has set the whole thing up to get him broken out of prison, a long-term kind of like wild card plan, where Mulvion's kind of acting on his behalf with a little bit of autonomy. So Dr. Alpha is having to basically improvise throughout most of that early bit.
Yeah, he doesn't technically know what the plan is, but he's like, okay, I need you to put together a plan in which I am necessary to deter it, so they can free me from my prison. That's kind of where it goes, and he kind of because Mulvion is a genius. He just kind of let Mulvion do whatever he wants, whatever that might be, follow that directive, and so that's kind of where it led. And so okay, well so he kind of runs with it.
Yep.
And he doesn't even know about the whole like Martian cannon that's going to come down to get them, but he kind of senses it and everything and kind of prepares for it, knows exactly what to do. So he knows what Mulvion is capable of, and he's like, okay, I can handle whatever he throws at me. I just need to know what he's going to throw at me, and he does. Until the last moment where he's like, actually, I'm not under your control anymore, and you're mine now.
I just want to make sure Mulvion. How exactly did Mulvion break out of the control? Is it just because he's super genius himself, and Dr. Alpha does have a bit of cocky ego?
It couldn't really hold him. Like that's kind of how that works. Like it just he is able to break out of it. In the latest edition, I had a page where he kind of explains how he broke out of it a little bit, where he kind of he does this kind of break out of it eventually just by kind of counteracting it with his own genius, because it's his suit is part biotechnology and then part just robot, so it still has some of him in there. Kind of he can still control it. So in all the autonomy, he really had a bunch of autonomy, so he was able to just basically kind of think his way out. But the thing is, what really set him free was the fact that he completed his task. So he wasn't able to break free until the task that he was given was completed, and then without a new task, without a current task either, he was able to kind of assert dominance. But he was kind of aware that was going on, so he was like, okay, I'll just bide my time. I'll follow the rules. I'll be under his control, and then the moment he was able to break free was the moment that he had no more tasks available. Task manager was empty, and now he can take over.
The program had run its course. Everything's evil. Time to destroy humans. It's fun. And then we have the long set. There's a reference in there where Dr. Alpha, you have Dr. Alpha naked a lot in both books. The original plan with the second book, I remember, is that like the first half of the book, he's just nude throughout all of it. But you changed that because you felt like that was that was costing you potential customers.
I think even my artist like, can we give him pants at one point?
Can
Yeah,
we
fine, we'll
please
give him
give
pants.
him pants?
It
And
made
we
a lot more sense too, I guess. Like you would try to get somebody's pants at least.
yeah. And I
Like,
love
okay,
all the villains in that second book the artist came up with, like all the people. We had the guy with the hammer, the
all the
big boxer
design.
guys. I think there's like a guy with a baseball bat at one point. Someone puts a knife in his neck. He punches Tug. It's a
Yeah, I came up with all the weapons and everything. He came up with the designs for it to make them all you look unique. So I thought that was pretty cool. I just like he just went above and beyond, made them all look cool, made them all look unique, made them all look just. Oh yeah, it's that guy. This tough, powerful, pretty interesting stuff.
no, sweetheart. There is not a nude edit. It never got released. It never went to print. Of course, she would want to see the nude edit. Let's see here. What's some of the other questions I got? How many parts are you planning Dead Man's Lullaby to be? Or is that going to be the whole
Right
name of
now,
the series either? So
it's going to be 3 parts so far. I decided to split it into a trilogy. That way, I can let it breathe. It can have more stuff going on, more lore, more backstory, and if I could put back, I took out a really big segment that I wanted to put in there because I thought it was going to be 1 book or 2 books. Then like I'll do 3 parts to it, and I could put that segment back in there. So it is back in there, and right now I'm formulating an arc for the second one, and then an arc for the third one. So I've pushed a few things around from the original story, but I think it'd be better now. It'll end up better overall.
yeah, because at the end of the first Dead Man Lullaby, we finally get Dr. Alpha in the classic the red lab coat with the. I love that he's got a reflector headband, just like a medical doctor would have. Because he
You're gonna
has
see like all the tricks. Like that. This suit actually has a lot of tricks to it, especially this one. So we'll see how that goes in the second one.
Because Dr. Alpha has a number of doctorates. He's not just a medical doctor. I think he says that surgery was his first doctorate, and that's his primary thing is biology.
Yeah, he's just, like my first practice is in surgery.
Yeah.
Which is why he knows exactly where to hit people to make like teeth fly up through the skulls and stuff. So it's all explained in the lore. So how come he can make teeth fight through the top of his head? Well, because he was a surgeon. He knows exactly where to hit people.
And throughout both of the books so far, we have seen that his primary skill seems to be in biology. He makes surgical nanobots that are able to eat through organic material. He makes mention the surgery is his first practice. He figures out the secret to superhero cloning. That's what both Mulvion and Dr. Cloner seem to be after in the both books. Is that how did it just work out that way, or was that always planned to be kind of like that?
I came up with like the long trajectory of the plan while I was writing Miracle Child the first time, and that's kind of so. Dead Man's Lullaby is going to kind of like put the groundwork in. We're going to go into the idea behind superhuman cloning, where he got his tattoos. So it's like a big setup for all that. So that's why I decided to split into 3 parts, so it can carry all that lore and the action.
Because a lot to explain, and I will say that your writing for comic books has improved between these 2 books. That first book, I love it, but it's got a bit of a roughness to it. It's definitely first person book, first book.
Yeah, definitely
with all the 9 panels. Nothing that you haven't probably heard from anywhere else at this point.
Yeah, but I did listen to people's feedback and like, okay, well, we'll skip out on the 9 panels. It's kind of let's go straw it back a little bit. So I did. Put more action in there, more stuff. I think paced it out a little bit better.
The pacing is definitely a lot better in the second book. First book is a lot of talking with very little action, and a superhero book is not. It's kind of a drag.
Just the talking scene, and then there's not a lot of backgrounds. It's kind of like So I learned my lessons. How to improve it.
That's the most important thing when running. You gotta take a little bit of your lumps, right? You gotta take your lumps and then, all right,
Oh, definitely.
all right, don't do that again. Just
That's so many 9 panel pages.
you can't learn how to fight without getting punched. So, and so what's some of the plans for the next I've totally lost my strange space. What's the next one for Dead Men's Lullaby? Are we going to see some new characters potentially? Because at the end we see a gag character who's kind of a ripoff of Steven Universe. Is that character actually going to be important, or is he going to die immediately?
He's there to die, I said. Essentially,
there
are a few of the heroes in there. They're kind of there to die. So it's just to kind of ramp up the body count.
Yeah, because we had the Iron, not Iron Man. That would get me copyrighted. Steel Sisters in the first one. Totally not Riri Williams and others.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, could you probably give us a little taste? Like, what's some of the things you're thinking for like fodder?
Oh, there's going to be a lot of stuff in there because I set up a bunch of twists and turns at the end of the part 1. We're going to have a reveal of a few of the things hinted at. If you look at the back, the flashback scenes, it kind of gives you hints of what happened in the past, what's going on now, and so we're going to get some new. Dr. Alva is going to get some new allies have been set up in the first one, and then it's ramped up. The stakes have ramped up because he's going to have to face off against actual superheroes now, not like the rookie league. Now he's going to face down like the actual superheroes with experience, including the director of this universe's version of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is Strategos. So that's going to be a huge one. We found out in the part 1 that she's actually is part of the agency, the secret clandestine agency that has that Cloner kind of works with, and then also his Oculus contact works with. So it's all together. It's all going to meld together. But yeah, we're going to get some other characters. It's all going to lead up into part 3, which we're going to get some other twists and turns in there with who these characters actually are. So it's a lot of stuff to go over.
Are we going to get a showdown between Alpha and Cloner in part 2, or is that going to have to wait for part 3?
Let's get part 3, the final showdown.
The Cloner is being built up to be our big bad guy, the big bad guy at the end of the game. Yep. I'm very interested because this story is going to explain how Glorious kind of came about, and maybe shed a little light on how he was actually able to have a son, because Dr. Alpha said he's sterile, yet somehow Glorious has a grandson, and that's the miracle child of the first one.
Yeah, he's supposed to be. So there's hints everywhere. The Cerulean Museum, and for one thing, is in the name. We'll find out what that means later. And also, but when he learns about this, that Cloner is attacking the Cerulean Museum, he's like, what's so great about a museum full of like inventions of super bats or something? I forgot what he says exactly, but he mentions that this is a museum that kind of hosts and celebrates like young geniuses essentially, and that's kind of part of it too. So we'll get to it, but there's a lot of stuff in there that was set up in part 1 that'll come into fruition in part 2 and eventually part 3. But I think people will like the twists and turns.
Is the museum guarded by a water Pokemon gym leader by any chance?
Not yet. I could put one in there.
It's the name of the second town in the original Pokemon games. That's Misty's gym.
In the Cerulean City.
Yeah, Cerulean. This is the level of comedy we get here, folks. I'm not a very smart burb. So let's talk about Lady Midnight. This book you've been teasing this one since the first Dr. Alpha book. She has a little side story in the first edition.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So That one, that one had been working on developing for a long time. At first, it began as like, oh, it's just like kind of side story in the Doctor Off universe, and I was like, no, no, it should be her own universe. And then it was going, and then it kind of became like this. I guess you could say Constantine sort of light in a way, but starring her, and then Dark Hood. It's kind of like it started off like if with Batman as a Batman kind of foundation, and then the idea was, what if Catwoman became good, and then she joined Batman, which I think has happened before. But that's kind of the idea,
I think that's happened
and
a lot.
yeah, it's happened quite a few times. That was kind of like the idea, like that kind of perspective. And then I developed more stuff and more lore and more things happened. And then I was eventually kind of developed it to what it is now, where it's like, okay, so Dark Hood will begin out of the picture. But he is still in the universe, sort of. But it's going to be more like what I took the harder route. I took the more difficult route, which is the easy route is just, okay, here's a monster of the week. She can fight this. It's going to be pretty cool. But I made it more of a standard detective, like this what was it called? Death Note, like a Death Note style occult detectives thing, where it's okay. We do actually have to do some figuring things out. We do have to follow clues to figure out who the killer is or the criminal is. So it's kind of like a Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie style detective story, but with supernatural elements that adds a little extra trick, because those are just nonsense, and I have to explain to you the nonsense so it makes it makes sense and it works. So if it all hinges on, okay, we need, the clue is the ritual requires this and this, and I have to explain to you how the ritual works so that you can follow along the detective's logic. So it took a lot. It took like 8 months just to get the base story. And then I kind of been rewriting it and improving it ever since. But I just kind of finished a new draft of it yesterday. So it's been tightened up a little bit. I had more motivations, more make sure everything is shored up, and I think people will like it. If you want like a detective story, I think people will like it. If you want like a cult detective, it literally is a cult detective story. It has a cult stuff in there, supernatural stuff in there, magic, all kinds of stuff. This vengeance, the literal like a revenant is in there. All kinds of things.
Is the communist Santa Claus going to come back?
I don't know. He might. That was pretty funny. He could, but not in this one.
It's always the one thing that got me about that story. It's like, Santa Claus is a good guy. Why is he a communist?
He's an evil Russian version of Santa. Although Russia is it's a big part of this first story. So it is a factor.
There's a lot of creepy things in Russian mythology and folklore. I'm very curious to see what you got pulled, because there's a lot when you're talking about on Morning Nonsense. Like, you went through like some, I think minimum like 40 editions of like that first draft, it seems like, and I have very firsthand knowledge of what that's like. Trying to write one, look at it, go no, and then have to start over.
It's like this one, the main story. I wrote it all up. I even sent it to my artist. Okay, I was like, this is where we're going with. And then there's more additions and edits, and there's some things that weren't working out. And like, okay, hold up, stop production on this thing. I have to rewrite the entire thing. So I rewrote the entire thing and sent that to him. And that one was way better. I got a way better reception from that version. So that's kind of the version I went with and have been improving upon ever since.
Yeah, there was one point where you're talking like there was going to be like card game magic in there, and that was
there will be, but not in this one.
Not in this one. Not in this one. We're going to have to wait for her to play Yu-Gi-Oh, folks. It's just
saving that to later. Yeah.
Will she have the mulligan 5 times and then give up because her hand just sucks?
No, you only get one chance. It's like the show.
I love card games, but I'm not good at them. Not good at a lot of things, actually. So Dark Hood is going to be in the new Lady Midnight stuff, or at least talked about.
Oh yeah, he's referenced in the first one, and that's kind of he's kind of a basis of her entire motivation. So now there's two people that could have influenced her life for the better. Her Darkhood is one of them. Like he helped give her her second chance at life, as opposed to being chained to a demon. And then this other person, who is a very central figure in the new story, gave her second life at actual life. So what happened was that she was a criminal, and then Darkhood allowed her to get to basically he dueled the demon, and it was never seen again, but was able to kind of essentially, as far as she knows, free her from the demon. So she's no longer under the thumb of the demon, as she kind of made a deal with a long time ago. And then, but then she still went to jail for all of her crimes for a very long time. But she was sentenced to a very long time. But she was saved from that sentence by another person that came into the picture, who liked her, who befriended her, and who thought her skills were useful enough to kind of get her out of jail and put her to work instead. And that's kind of where, one, she's a detective by kind of like force, but also out of gratitude. Like she wants to help people out. She's actually does have a good heart, overall. That's kind of what paved the way for her path to hell, because she wanted to save her family. She wanted to save her, at that point, her coven. And then, but it was too late. She couldn't save them. She chained her soul to hell, to a demon, for power to save them, but it was too late. She couldn't save them, and she was stuck, and all she had was vengeance. And that's kind of what drove her to become a criminal for a while. But we'll see. But it's all there. It's all kind of referenced in the first book, like what her motivations are, what kind of person she is, and it's break down the clues and what her friends are kind of like, or relationships are kind of like, and what might have happened in Darkhood. So we have a lot of that stuff, in there, and she gets her character explained more or less pretty well. But some of it you kind of have to pay attention to close to the details. I have a lot of notes in the script saying, put this in there. It's really important for the story, and put this in the panel, but don't make it the focus, because it's only there. It's in the background and it's important, but it's only there for the observant reader.
You got to pay attention.
So there's clues. Yeah, there's a lot of clues in there, but that are like, oh, wait a minute, that does like that from before. Is that the same thing? So you pay attention, you might be able to weave together the answers sooner than later.
So yeah, this is a supernatural kind of murder mystery this time around.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's got to be
absolutely.
That's a big challenge, trying to write a mystery. So when you were writing this, did you know the ending and then you have to work backwards from there, or did you just kind of did you have to wing it?
Well, there was a version where I was like, okay, here's this version, and then I kind of looked into like, I need some more the characters, so there's more like there's more suspects, and then I came with a whole new idea, and that altered who the actual killer was. So I was like, okay, well, this is way better. So I could have changed the entire story. This is a second draft. The second, like, when I rewrote the story entirely, I had another character be the killer. And then I needed some more characters so that there would be more red herrings and more suspects. And then I came up with this really fun idea for a character. Like, this is pretty cool. This thing will have it. Like, this organization would have a character like this. Like, oh, what if she's the bad guy, or he's the bad guy, or it's the bad guy, right? What if this thing's the bad guy, or whatever it is? And so I just reworked the entire story so that this new character is actually the murderer. Which was a lot of fun, but that's kind of the version we're getting now. This altered version.
Is the I'm going to take a guess on the murderer real quick. It's actually the murder victim's maid, because she made an oopsie with the medication and overdosed him, but didn't actually do it.
He's actually still alive.
No,
no, it's not Knives Out.
It's not Knives Out. Oh, it's the victim's twin, but not, and everybody knows it's not, but they're going to act like they don't.
And then the murderer sees the twin and is like, "Oh, I thought I killed you anyway." You're here somehow, but that's okay, I guess.
It's Old Man Jenkins from Scooby Doo. Got it. We got-
You
When-
meddling kids.
when Scooby Doo makes a better mystery than you did, that's not a good sign. Actually, probably is a good sign for Scooby Doo because Scooby Doo actually tries. Depends on the episode and the season.
And they have a lot of fun doing it too.
Hmm?
They have a lot of fun making Scooby Doo. You could tell.
Yeah. Oh, magic system with Lady Midnight. Is it going to be very? I assume it has to be hard if you're going to be making a murder mystery. Like, there's got to be very set rules of what can and can't happen.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard. What's kind of hard to explain, but I kind of put it in there. There's there's ideas of like souls, life force. You have mana kind of generates from the soul, and that kind of goes into your blood. And so that's why vampires have to drink your blood, because they need it, because their souls are corrupted. They have a lot of benefits. There's a lot of benefits from their dark corrupted souls, because that gives them a lot of power and immortality and stuff. But their souls are corrupted, and so their mana that kind of excrete and life force that excretes is corrupted, and they need to have a regular dose of pure blood with pure mana in there to survive. And that's kind of how it works in this universe. It all centers around like how corrupt are you, how deep into the mud are you, and so the technical term is Nightbreed. It kind of covers like witches or evil witches, and werewolves and vampires, stuff like that. So the things that the more corrupt you become, the more demonic you kind of allow yourself to become. The more you are not allowed in the light, the weaker you are in the sun. So that's why vampires are kind of one of the most corrupt. So they just die in the sun. And so that's kind of where it goes and stuff like that. So I kind of hint that. I don't explain it fully, but I do explain enough for the story. And I guess we'll explore more in later stories.
It's interesting. Is it like got like any physical changes to the body as well? Like you're talking about like it has like a level of corruption. My mind immediately went to Renegade Path with Mass Effect. How that it would affect Shepard if you kept going Renegade, especially in the second one where your skin starts breaking out in red lines.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, a little bit. It's kind of like, that's where the vampiric features come from. Like a little more demonic. They kind of like get gaunt, a little pale, stuff like that. So they kind of alter Lady Midnight herself, because she kind of attached herself to a demon, but did not become totally corrupt through her actions and things. She has like an aversion to sunlight, where she becomes weaker. Her powers become weaker in the daylight. Also, she has that whole thing that D&D creatures have, where you get kind of blinded in the day.
Sunlight sensitivity.
Because she has these eyes. Yeah, sunlight sensitivity. So she has like these eyes that glow and let her see in the dark and everything, and let her see magic, all these benefits. But she's very weak she's a lot weaker in the daylight. She won't die, but she's a lot weaker in the daylight. And so there's a lot of all these things. I don't really get a chance to go over it specifically, but she also has a weakness to silver. Like, it does burn when she comes into contact with silver. It never comes up in this story, though, as far as I know.
Is there like
it just doesn't happen.
Any weaknesses to like religious symbolism, or is it just this 4 square angles confuse vampires?
Not yet. So maybe a little. Like, she has like weak. She might be weak to holy power, because even though she's detached from the demon, she's still corrupted from being attached to the demon at one point. And the idea is like maybe one day, hopefully, she can cleanse her soul and make it uncorrupt. So there is that hope, but yeah, she has like a lot of the same weaknesses vampires do, essentially, because they suffer from the same corruption at its base. Except vampires are the most corrupt you can get without becoming an actual demon.
I couldn't stand being a vampire. I like garlic way too much. It's just you gotta have that pizza.
So I base a lot of it off of D&D rules. So like except everything pretty much needs, what's it called, materials. So you kind of have to cast a spell, wave your hands or whatever, and then you need the materials. I took the idea from sorcerers. So they're rare in this world, but they have innate spell casting, which means they don't really need to have like the knowledge and stuff or the materials. They kind of just do it innately. but they're far more dangerous, volatile. So the lore is that they are the only ones that need magic wands, but they need their magic wands, although to focus that energy. Otherwise, there's kind of big bubbling cauldron of raw power. There's like different reasons why people become innate. So I did base a lot of it off of D&D to help me ground it and give it the sense of hard magic systems that I need.
So like they're actually gonna have to like brew up the actual material components. Like in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, material components kind of just go away. If you have a wand, a staff, orb, crystal, whatever, a pouch, you kind of have what you are. But in old school, thank you.
Choose like magic components or whatever.
J Cree MP3, thank you for the follow on Twitch. Thank you very much. But I lost my train of thought. That jump scared me. That notification jump scared me. In 5th edition, like they kind of gave it, but like in old editions, like 2nd edition, you actually had to go out and find this stuff. And like if you wanted to cast Fireball, you had to go find Bat Guano.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I had to set up in the original, like the other versions of the story, where because there was more of her apartment you got to see. So in her apartment, have this whole like segment and page of like listing all these jars with all these different components everywhere. So she does have that. You still get that a little bit, but not as much, not as detailed. But she does have her apartment is full like all this stuff, right? She's full like this. She has a garden on top of the apartment that she lives at, like on the rooftop, which does actually come into play. You actually do see, and that's kind of where she grows a lot of her ingredients. And then her apartment is full of stuff that she's prepared, like this, like stones that have carvings in them. She smokes cigarettes, but it also this doesn't come up in this one either. But they are cigarettes that she kind of grows the herbs for herself and wraps them herself, and they actually give her protection from supernatural elements, like a little extra, +1 defense or so.
Just she's kind of like mixing incense and special KOC's special herbs and spices in there to protect her.
Exactly. It pretty much gets a little defense here and there.
She's homegrowing that good stuff.
Exactly. In fact, I kind of based how demons work, how you get attached to them with the warlocks, how the patrons work and everything. So you kind of give them, you kind of do whatever, and then you kind of are at their beck and call a little bit, but they give you powers. So there's huge benefits to going demonic. There's huge benefits to corrupting your soul and stuff. You get like a demonic patron or like a elder god patron or whatever it is, and you do get lots of benefits, but your soul is corrupted. It's no longer yours, it's no longer pure, and so that's how it works. But you do get a lot of cool stuff. You get a lot of cool stuff, but essentially that's how it works.
Is the supernatural kind of like well known in this world, or is it kind of like a hush hush secret?
It's like a secret world, kind of like underworld. Like no, the normal people do not know about it, but the secret society does. There are people who are in the know.
Very interesting. I'm looking very forward to Lady Midnight. Any idea when we're going to start seeing the campaign for it? And I assume it's going to be on Indiegogo this time as well.
Yeah, Indiegogo. I hope soon. I already have we revised the covers, but he's fixing up the cover. I think we have page 1 done. Maybe by the time I get 3 to 5 pages done, we can go ahead and get the campaign going. I have it set up on Indiegogo. I just need the pages to show off.
Need the page. And about how long do you think this campaign's going to have to last for? About, because I know with the first 2 campaigns you've been late. It took a lot longer than you expected.
Dead Man's Alibi, I think I was like a couple months late, I think, with sending him out. The first one took a while because it was my first campaign. But Dead Man's Alibi, I think, was a little easier. But this one, I know, I have an idea, so we'll see how it goes.
Proton Stalker said the magic words. Is it like John Wick?
Yeah, like John Wick, exactly. With like it seems like everybody knows about the high table, but then also nobody knows.
Nobody knows. We just don't happen to be dealing with the people who would know all the time, so it doesn't feel like it. Right. Is Baby Kuthi going to be in the books?
Not yet. Not yet. I haven't found a place for Baby Kuthi just yet.
Where did this idea come from? Because I think Baby Kuthi existed before I found out about you. So I never got the lore on this.
I made like another Lady Midnight short after I made the additional one called Younger Things, and it came out. I got the idea from Baby Yoda, and like, what if there was like she came in at the aftermath of like this horrific thing gone wrong, and these and this cultist secret base, and everything's dead, and there's a giant like Cthulhu-esque monster in there that's just kind of ripped open and dead, and then all that's left is in there is a little baby Kuthi, and that's it.
I have seen that story. It all makes sense. I thought there was like more to it than that. Yeah, you made that as a response to whatever lore happened there. You also produced a number of videos on your YouTube channel. The personal favorite is the Superman video. It took like a year to produce and it's 2 hours long. And you just recently did another 2 hour long video about why we didn't like The Last Jedi.
Yeah, going into the deep dive into the philosophy and stuff.
How did you get started making videos? Like what brought that about?
Well, I just saw how bad media was taking a turn, and just how there's a big narrative going around, and it's like this, oh, you're all racist and everything. Like no, I don't think that's true. So my first video was, can a racist be heroic? Can a racist character be heroic? And that one people kind of tend to like. And then I went like, okay, why are SJW's characters why are so many of the Mary Sues and things? I had to explain what a Mary Sue is. So my idea was like going into this thing, kind of like forging weapons to fight back against the narrative with. I go, what's a Mary Sue? Well, Mary Sue's this and this and this. Like, oh, and it was like easy to dismiss because there's no solid ground people really had. And so I decided to go into what a Mary Sue is, like what it is specifically. You can't just say, oh, it's overpowered character. Like, what does that mean? What does overpowered mean in what relation? There's like all kinds of powerful characters. So I want to go into that. I wanted to explore these ideas that were kind of taboo, like the idea, oh, can a racist character be heroic? Yes, absolutely can, in the right circumstances. So it's like going in and exploring these groundworks, these rules of writing in the background that are kind of forgotten or dismissed or ignored by the mainstream, so they can push their own version of things, by the modern art bros and stuff like that. So I think it's important to remember why these things were developed in the first place, why they work, and why they shouldn't be forgotten.
Is there any videos you ever had to take down, either because it just did not perform, or as you went on, you found this is just low quality and you don't want it about?
Not yet. I don't think so. Not yet. All the ones I've published, I think, are still up there.
Because I found you about the time you were doing this series on comparing modern day iterations of heroes and their replacements with like Iron Man and I forget who like else you had done. You did one on Cyberfrog at one point. Daredevil. Yeah, you compared one to Camilla Khan to Daredevil.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that's when you had the whole Riddler outfit going.
Yeah, because like they're both like religious, kind of religious. An idea people have said that, oh, he wasn't religious to begin with, and I'm like, yeah, that's the point. It didn't matter. Like now he's religious because it didn't really matter what his religion was in the first story, because it was mainly based around his character and his motivations and him being a superhero. Like him having a religion later on made sense because he was already like that. He was already a good person, and him being like a good person because of religion just made sense to add on. So the idea of like making the character's religion like up in front is like it shouldn't really be as critical to the character themselves as in a superhero comic. But Kamala Khan was made by like a person who does like what was it called? Like slice of life, kind of like teen drama books. So that's why the first issue is all about like her family going to a party, being awkward, writing fan fiction, and at the end she gets some powers. So like the first book of Daredevil it's like he gets like you get his a battle, you get his backstory, he gets revenge for his dad. It's a lot of stuff that happens and only lasts like a few pages, only like what 20 pages maybe at most. Like
And
his backstory of training was like maybe 1 page or so, and that's all you get. He's like, okay, he trained a lot and then he became a superhero. And that's about it. And meanwhile, you have all the modern day stories are just so boring and slow. Like, you wonder why there's no sales. People might say, oh, because woke and people don't like it. Well, that might be one reason. But if you actually read these books, it's because they're boring. They're really, really boring. I think Stan Lee wrote the first Daredevil, I think. Was it? I think it was. It kind of felt like Stan Lee.
I wish I know. I'm wanting to say Steve Ditko wrote it, but I think he was just artist. Like,
Might have been.
yeah. When it comes to old books like that, they also never knew what actually was going to stick. Like every character back then, it felt like you have one chance, and if you don't make it, you're done for. And when he comes to like these more modern characters, it feels like, oh, I have a contract that says I'm going to guarantee this number of issues, and
Yes, they can drag it out.
yeah, so I can drag it out however long I want, so I can get to that trade paperback number.
And that's where I make the real money.
And that's where I'm
But
like,
yes, if like G. Willow Wilson, the lady that wrote Kamala Khan, I'm pretty sure if she like had to be in the bullpen and had to produce like actual things that sold, I don't think the first issue would be all about Kamala Khan. It's like kind of like going to a party, interacting with the quirky family, and then ending with her getting the powers. I'm pretty sure she would get the powers from page 1, and then we get to maybe have a flashback of her family, and then we go back to the conflict at hand or something, because that sells. That's kind of what we want in a superhero comic. But the idea of like we're gonna meander here, we're gonna go over here with the party. Oh, she's a quirky teen, ha ha ha. And then, oh yeah, there's a fart cloud over the city, and then she might get some powers, and then find out next time. Like if this was the old school ways, like Marvel was just kind of like not really existent yet, it's just building up, and like, oh, let me try this newfangled company, and it's just like a cool superhero promising, because Stan Lee would be like, incredible powers, incredible stories, tales of suspense. That's kind of what Stan Lee would do. Like this, stay tuned for the next incredible issue of Daredevil. Wait till you see what he does next, or something like that. He was like really good at selling these things. He would put them on there, like the Daredevil, the man without fear. I wouldn't expect to pick up Daredevil and have him and watch him like work at his office and then go have lunch with his friends, and then maybe at the end we might get some superhero stuff. Maybe that's a little bit different. So Stan Lee knew where to take these stories where we need some action in there. We need to get right into the story. We need some backstory. We need some context, but then we get right back to the action.
all right. One final question for me. Going back to the writing of books. Why did you pick comics over doing something like prose writing?
I always wanted to do a comic, and I thought it's pretty fun to try it out and see how this kind of see it come to life. And so there's an opportunity. Like, let me try this out. Let me try out comics. Like, I always wanted to do one, and there's an opportunity to like get the money to hire an artist and everything. So I decided to seize that opportunity, and I liked it. I think it turned out pretty well as far as I've seen. Like, it was, the first one was rough. Learned my lessons, but it is really cool to say they have this comic book that can say I did this. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think I've asked this before. Like, have any of your like personal friends and families been really excited for what you have produced, and have they, or does this kind of like stay separate from family life? Is this kind of hush hush?
They know about it. They're surprisingly really impressed. Like, they like it. They said, "Wow, this is amazing. This is fantastic." So they do like it. They do like it.
I would like to open up the floor to the chat. If you have any questions, go ahead and send them in real quick. And then, because we're kind of coming towards the end of like our hour, we're actually at the hour mark right now. And I don't like having these go on for too long. I feel like an hour is about the perfect length for a stream like this. Is there any?
Sounds good to me.
Is there any big plans for videos coming up? Like,
I got quite a few. In fact, I'm trying to, but I know research is the part that takes a lot of the time. So I'm doing research for a few other videos while I work on this one I'm working on right now, which is about Mary Sue's and girl bosses. So it's not about a Mary Sue video. It has the Mary Sue in it, but I'm talking about how girl bosses are like a horrific mutation of the Mary Sue. So kind of like what is a girl boss exactly? People keep using that term, and it gets dismissed because no one can actually tell you what it is. It's more like, oh, you just don't like the character. She's a girl boss. Like, no, there's actual like traits to a character that make a character a girl boss, even separate from a Mary Sue. So it's like a horrific mutation of a Mary Sue, as all like the special coddling of a Mary Sue, but more of a political slant to it, more of a hostility to it. So I'm gonna go into that. Been working on that one pretty diligently.
Got any advice on how to avoid writing a girl boss? Like, what's the steps you should probably take notice of and avoid?
But really, just stay traditional. Just do follows the hero's journey. Like, don't give her all these powers. Have her begin, kind of lowly and underpowered, and then have her grow from a character. You can have her have flaws and stuff. Give her flaws first of all. She can have flaws. She can be imperfect, and then have her grow from that point. Have her become a better person. She can have an ambition that's very selfish, or even like a very feminist or whatever, where it's like, I hate men. And then over the course of the story, she learns to respect men, and she breaks out of this mentality and becomes more open to people, not just women only are good and all men are evil. So, might grow out of this sort of thing, like Wonder Woman did. So, give her like a character arc, make her change, make her earn her powers. For example, one good example actually I think is the ballerina, because in that movie she actually does earn everything. She begins play as really weak, and she gets beaten up a lot. She loses a lot, and to the point of frustration, to the point where her mentor has to like refigure her brain and kind of like just give her a new insight into how she could function. So she does earn all of her skills, and it's like over the course of years, and then she goes on missions, gets on hands experience. So by the time she enters the real conflict of the movie, we can understand why she's so incredibly skilled and strong. And even then she has trouble fighting some people. Even then she still loses. So, keep the rising action up, make her imperfect. Give us that thrill of like, okay, she's in trouble. How's she going to get out of this? Instead of like, okay, well, she's in trouble, so the universe is going to hand her an answer. We know she's a girl, so she's going to beat this guy because he's a guy. That sort of thing. That's no fun. That's kind of the downfall of a lot of these female characters, because it's like we know exactly how the story is going to go before we even watch it. All I gotta do is see what kind of character she is. Oh, she's a girl boss, Mary Sue. Okay, she's gonna beat up all the guys. She's gonna win pretty effortlessly. I don't even want to waste my time. So that is the downfall of this whole thing, where women are portrayed as one way, because they can only be portrayed in one way when it comes down to the girl boss mentality. So just give her a character, give her traits, flaws, and give her room to grow.
It kind of feels like it's a corruption of the idea of you can do anything you set your mind to mentality. It's like, oh, you can do this. You got this. You got to put it in. It's kind of like, oh, you can do this because you're going to be able to do this, not because you can work hard to do it. Kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, because that's the trajectory of a girl boss story, is being awesome already, and then the arc is teaching the world that you're awesome and making them acknowledge it. That's kind of like every girl boss story at its base.
Yeah.
So it's very boring. It's usually very boring. It's not a lot of fun. We know she's going to win. If she fights a man, she's always going to win unless he cheats or something. And then of course it's going to be, because he cheated, he's a scoundrel, he's a backstabber, whatever it is. If they're supposed to be on even playing field, she's going to win. Like if if it's her versus a man and they're supposed to be the same rank, even playing field, she's going to win effortlessly. And then, so because the girl boss is all about the "you go girl" moments. That's really all it is.
Yeah, it's like she doesn't have to like use her brain or use her skill or use her environment around her because she's just as good as a man, and it kind of just makes them both look weak in that regard. Like, oh, this dude
Yeah,
got beat up by a girl, and man, she's kind of a bitch, ain't she? It's just that's what it comes out.
ironically enough, because they hate the writers tend to hate men so much, they tend to write men with flaws and growth and all that stuff. Like, which so that's how we get Ken. So we got Ken from Barbie. They hate men more or less. It has a very feminist slant to it. So they made Ken the bad guy, and he became this cultural icon. Because he has flaws. He has things to recover from. Like he has character growth. He changes. He becomes a whole new person, and then he learns a lesson at the end. Like there's all kinds of things you do with Ken that made him interesting. And then we had Barbie, who kind of became like this Barbie but sad, I guess.
And the only thing I remember anybody talking about that Barbie movie in regards to Barbie herself is that time she's sitting on a bench and there's an old woman there, and she goes, "You're beautiful." Because it's just a genuine moment of kindness from the character, and that's all anybody remembers of her. So
yeah, she kind of just grows from like I don't want to be Barbie anymore. I want to go live real life, which is not really a big character arc. It's kind of like, oh, I want to live here now. It's kind of cool. Or Ken goes from like I want Barbie to be my girlfriend. I love her so much. To I want to patriarchy time. I'm gonna take patriarchy back to the Barbie land, and if she doesn't want me, then I'll be the one to control. And she'll have to want me. And then he kind of learns that to separate himself from Barbie, that it's not Barbie and Ken, I'm just Ken.
It's so weird because Barbie, that's what Barbie was. She was the can do anything girl. That was the whole point of the brand. It's just when it started, it's like, oh, this is supposed to be a breakaway from just Raggedy Ann dolls and like crying baby dolls. This is the girl who can actually become like something I don't want to say something respectable, because there is nothing more respectable than a mother. I love my mama. It's got alluded to like a woman only can be these things.
Yeah.
Such a strange thing. It's because it's like there's nothing wrong with the message of you can do anything. But there's like
they kind of skip over the part where like you have to work to get there.
Yeah.
If I can't say I want to be an astronaut and then made an astronaut, something is wrong with the society. That's kind of what the mentality is.
All right, we got a few questions here. Proton Stalker, who is your favorite person in chat, and why is it not Dr. Crow? Oh, come on. It is me. We all know this. I mean, you wouldn't have come here otherwise.
I'll go with that answer.
A bit onto from Research Rodriguez, a bit onto a few of the lessons on managing the comic creation using the process you did the first one, and how to keep tabs with the artists or people helping. I think he's asking what some of the lessons you learned from the comic making process, like what some tips that you found out.
Get your whip and like, hey, artists, get to work. It really is kind of it, because I started with the script already done, so it is really a lot of it on the artist. So artists tend to meander. They kind of go away for a while if you don't keep up with them. It's just it's a curse of being a creative person. You kind of like get lost in your own world sometimes. And so, yeah, as the campaign manager, you kind of have to go like, okay, I need this to be done. I need this many pages by this time. And so, towards the end, what really got me to finish Dr. Alpha Miracle Child was saying, okay, I need 20 pages by this month. I need 20 pages. Okay, now I need 20 pages. So, like setting a deadline, setting how much we need to get done by this point, and then also having spending money on other people like a letterer and a colorist to just help make it faster, help things go faster. So it's just kind of like learning that how much time this art actually takes. I know that's a lot of people's first lesson, is learning how long art actually takes to complete. And it's a while. It definitely takes a lot longer than you think it does. So that's a big lesson. So allocate for that amount of time. This one is going to be the shortest comic book I've ever written, so it's not going to take nearly as long, like what I think Miracle Child was 112 pages by itself, which
It's
takes a long
big
time to do.
book. It's
It's
really
a big book. And then I cut it down with a Dead Man's Lullaby. It got to like 72 pages or something like that. The final scripts, more or less, that for Lady Midnight is going to be 54. But it's going to be, it's kind of going to go fast. It's going to have a lot of stuff in there, and I think it's paced out pretty well. So I combined a few pages. I cut some unnecessary stuff, condensed some dialogue. So it became by 54 pages. 54 pages. So it's going to be like the shortest comic ever written. But because of that, it's not going to be as it's not going to take as long to make.
Did you say Midnight was already on Indiegogo? No, not yet.
I have the Indiegogo campaign set up for it, but I need those pages in. Once I get those pages in, I can kind of cobble together the rest of the campaign.
Every artist suffers from ADHD. Just gotta keep them.
And more or less, so I have to come in and say, "Hey, do you need updates? I need updates. I need any updates. Where are you? And I need. Can we get it done by this point in time?"
That's a lot.
Be reasonable about it.
You gotta get on them. It's like, hey, can I get an update on how things are going right now? But at the same time, if they don't turn in pages, I don't have to pay them yet. So
yeah, that's a big trick. Don't pay them up front. Okay, keep them hungry.
There's been a lot of campaigns that that's unfortunately meet their doom because the artist either ghosted or just decided to leave, and you paid them up front, and there went all that money.
Yeah, don't pay them up front, because even if they leave, you won't get that money back. No. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm quit. Here's the money back." No, that's going to happen. They're just going to ghost you.
The moment you give that money to the artist, consider that money spent. It's just
more or less, yeah.
Probably
so
is, because they got to buy food too. So, all right. It looks like mentioned this already. Are you using the same artists, inkers, etc. as Dr. Alpha for Lady Midnight?
Not for this one. I got a new guy. Lady Midnight, I got Nick Axe to do the inking and the penciling and everything. It's going to be a black and white book. So he does... I don't really need a colorist on this one, which is also pretty good. He's really good with the... As far as I can tell, he's really, really good with the art and structuring things. He used to own his own animation company, so he knows the frames that are needed to give you the most impact. So new artist. New artist. I still am using my same letterer though, but it's, new artist.
Eric Weathers for letters, right?
Eric Weathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the same writer too?
Hopefully.
I'm sorry. It's like, it seems like that's all our questions from the chat, and we are coming up towards the end of our little interview here. So, for those of you who don't know, at the end of every one of these little interview streams and podcasts I like to show off a magician because I come from a magic background. So my wife Pixie, she finds these magicians specifically. She's the one who goes and looks for these videos. And she found a very special one for you, Literature Devil. Have you heard of a man called Max Maven?
I don't think so. No.
Are you familiar with magic at all?
Oh yeah.
All right. So
The Gathering, stage.
We're going to be watching performance magic. This is going to be some stage magic. So Max Maven is a mentalist. He's a mind reader mostly. And she said she found one where he focuses on a book and spirit summoning. So without any further ado, let's look at Max Maven.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we take you to another dimension, to a place far beyond the barriers of your brain, to a world where the spirits are in command, to the mind-boggling, mysterious
This is
world
Harry
of the
Blackstone Jr.
mystifying
This is not Max Maven, sweetheart.
Maven.
Oh, he's introducing him. There he is. Look at his forehead, the beautiful man.
And once again, we will attempt to establish contact with the world beyond. Again, we will attempt to cause the spirits to write in between the surfaces of these blank slates. I shall place this piece of chalk
General Zod?
in between the slates.
I know.
I'll ask you to place your
That-
hands flat atop
I
the
have
slates
never
so
been
that
able to figure out
nothing
if
can
the
get in
hairline
or
is
out.
actually real or if he's actually
Now, in
got a
order for the
prosthetic
spirits to
wig or
have
something.
some stimulation, some point of reference, I thought it might be appropriate for us to use some verbiage from the work of Edgar Allan Poe.
Because of course it's Poe.
Would you help me out?
Man, like this gothic theme. Yeah,
He's like
Poe.
a Poe guy.
Right there? You stopped me at page 102. What is the first word on that page, please?
Chamber.
Chamber. Very well, that is what we will attempt to have the spirits right between those slates. To help me with this endeavor, I ask you all to place your hands flat on the table in front of you. Focus your attention, focus your minds on the presence of the spirits here with us tonight. And I will hold this pendant of crystal to focus our energies from your minds down through the surface of the slates.
Flash. I
Surely
love
that
all
must
of
be a
this because
sign. Did you
everything
feel
he's
the
making
chalk
them
moving
do
in between
here
the
with the
slates?
pendant and all of it does nothing for the trick. It's just all show.
Again, what page will be on?
102.
Just to get you in the mindset.
Yeah, it's to set the mood. He's got good mood control. I love it a lot. Oh, page is gone.
This was not what I had intended to happen. Raise the slate. What page is that?
102.
And the first word?
Chamber.
The tear. It is the same page. This was not what I had in mind, but clearly we are in contact with the spirit world.
And there you go. Max Maven, everybody. Lovely performance from him. It's very good crowd control there, making us look all over the place. That trick was done the moment he picked up that book. I love it. Hey, that is
It's pretty good. He's summoning a spirit and everything. It's pretty good. He's summoning ghosts.
Oh yeah, he summoned a real ghost to rip out that book at the page and put it in there. And the reason you didn't see it is because ghosts are invisible. Yeah.
I saw it, of course, but no one else did. I could see spirits.
You can see spirits. Yes, whiskey, vodka, wine, craft
All
beer.
kinds.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially that last one.
The IPA is calling to you. Yes. So that is going to bring us to the end of our show this evening. Thank you all for coming very much. Just a quick update. Next week on the 18th, I believe. Let me check my notes. July 8th. That's next week. 18th is the week after. We are going to have John Logbox on to talk about Heroic Tales. And then after that, who knows? Might do something special for 4th of July. Keep an eye on the channel for that. If it does, it's going to kind of be spur of the moment. Thank you, Literature Devil, for coming on and entertaining us with your smooth, beautiful voice.
No problem. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for the invite.
Is that good? And thank you to the wonderful chat. That will do it for me and Lori this evening. I am Dr. Crow. I read a book once, and it's my goal to make you smile. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.